Recording in progress. Good afternoon, everybody. Gil is coming in. That's going to be, I think, Corey 2.0. So we can all salute him in just a moment. He'll be joining. Yeah, that's Gil. Okay. He works with Corey Bear. Hey, Gil.
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Good. Good to see you. We're just ready to start now. We were waiting for you. Okay. So this is all on you. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and start the screen sharing here. And like I said, get this dog and pony show started. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Digital PNA. This is your 2 times a month opportunity to connect with not only business owners in the Pacific Northwest, but now, wait, there's more. We've got at least 2 members in other states. So, pretty soon by the end of the year, we'll be taking over the world. Just FYI to everyone. I am Brian. I'm going to just move beyond this. I'm the current president of the year. No one wants to see my big bobblehead, but check this out. I'm very excited to showcase that not only do we have members present, of course, a few people that are absent, they've emailed, but at the same time, we got 2 new faces. And one of them is currently on the call today. We got Jorge Ramirez. He just recently joined. And then well, I'll let you introduce yourself in just a minute to our newest member, Kelly. But I also want to point out that if you want to make some moolah or money, if you don't speak French, or I'm sorry, la moolah, I incentivize members to help the organization as a whole grow, as well as any of the physical brick and mortar chapters throughout the Pacific Northwest. So if you're interested in that, let me know and we can talk offline, but it's kind of a cool program. Before we get into the down and dirty advertisements and a conversation piece, and then the presenter today, who I hear is really questionable, it's me. I need to get some volunteers. We need to get some volunteers for some roles. If you're not good at knowing what the heck an icon means. Photographer, this is someone who might snap a photograph of the presentation today or of the meeting itself. You can take your camera, turn yourself around, do a fun selfie shot, do a screenshot if you know how to do that. Have some fun and share that out at some point to everyone. The tracker, someone who listens to anyone who might be dropping numbers, fun data points, any quotables, any things going on that we might be able to turn around and use for memes, or each one of us using our own business maybe. And then also they capture any closed business that people can put in the chat window as well. The doodler is just what that sounds like, even though that's a piece of spaghetti I threw against the digital wall. Someone who just wants to have fun. You want to doodle, Gil's recent haircut, anything along those lines. You want to doodle one of us, the entire presentation, just a little sketch that is inspired by something someone talks about. We need a volunteer for that. And then the timer. Marcel, I'm going to make you timer if that's okay today, since I'm going to have you kind of dual role since I'm presenting. So I have to step back from a few things. Is that okay?
You got it.
Okay. So I can't see everyone's bobblehead. Can I get a photographer person to volunteer?
I said I'd do it.
Oh, thank you. Karen, okay,
Yep.
Appreciate that. How about a tracker? Anybody wants to track stuff? Sometimes this is the easiest job. There may not be anything to track.
I'll do tracker.
Okay, Gil, thank you. Appreciate it. Who wants to doodle? Matt, I want you to doodle today. You're a creative person. I'll put you on the spot, okay?
You may live to regret that decision, but yes, sure, why not? So just
I already
sketching
am. I'm not gonna
random
lie.
notes, I can
Well,
do that.
And let me say, the reason we're having people doodling is this is a digital PNA, and part of digital marketing is learning to get better at storyboarding. And
Yep.
so doodling helps you prepare for storyboarding. So if you've never done it before, just dive in and make some stick people.
Yeah.
Stick people, got it. I can do that.
Well said, Marcel. Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into commercials. This is where you get, of course, the opportunity to give and deliver your most awe-inspiring commercial about your business, maybe something that separates you from your competition, or something that's going on right now that you want us to think about, something that's relevant to your business category. So we will go ahead and start with Amy, because it's fun. Can't wait to hear this. And after we go through the commercials, we're going to then dive into a conversation topic. So you don't need to worry about a tangent or anything for this portion. So Amy, you've got 60 seconds. Go.
Woo! Thank you for letting me go first. At least I'm not last like always when he's picking the order. Amy with Move It Mortgage. So I've met a few of your faces. So nice to see you guys again and a couple new faces. Matt, I follow you on Instagram now. So fairly aware of who
Oh,
you
thank
are
you.
and what you do, insurance. Anyways, so I deal with mortgages, refinances, buyer's loans, stuff like that. Right now, just doing a ton of buyer's loans. We're in the spring market. And I am licensed in Arizona, Florida, Idaho, and Washington State. So if you know of anybody who is looking to either debt consolidate with a cash out refinance, a home equity line of credit, or of course, a buyer's loan in any of those states, I would love to have a chat with them. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I just put the speaker rotation here for the ads in the chat window. So pop that open if you could. Next up is Gil.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gil Wiseman. I'm a financial advisor with Straight and Sound Wealth Management, where we help people solve financial puzzles, build wealth, and achieve financial independence. Financial independence for some people is about transitioning wealth and making sure they have a legacy of wealth with their family. And to help them with that, we work with the adult children of clients and help them build habits that will both allow them to create wealth and also manage it later in their lives. And it's one of the funnest things I do. In fact, this week I got to work with one of our clients' children who's 24 years old, and he just found out he was going to be getting a $16,000 deferral into his SEP IRA. And his dad thought it would be a good time to meet with me and talk about what he could do with that money over the course of his lifetime. And so I got to talk to him about the rule of 72 and compound interest and how that $16,000 could turn into $250,000 by the time he's in his 50s. And basically help him create some habits, not only saving that money, which can be a $16,000 windfall, it could be hard for a 24-year-old to walk away from. So we've got him on a plan, and I'm pretty excited about that. So if you're looking for sage financial advice, you need a wise man. Gil Wiseman, Straight and Sound.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, I can answer it. I'm just gonna go. Okay.
We got you.
Okay, so I'm Courtney Balza with Country Financial, and good afternoon, everyone. I kind of like Gil, I work with a lot of generational households. I do insurance and financial planning. And so when clients have kids turning driving age, I'm helping them get insured, whether or not it doubles their premium, and so I've been getting those a lot. We have really good student discounts, and we have another discount that's called the Simply Drive, where they go online and take like the super easy course, and then it gives them another like 10% discount, which is needed when you're a teen driver. And then just coach, I do coach them through like what the coverages are, what they mean, what could happen if they get into an accident. I'm just here to be that like liaison between all the different departments that we have. So yeah, I thought that was a cool little tangent to go off. Thanks, Gil. Courtney Balza, Country Financial.
I guess I'm up. Is that right, Brian? Mike with BizX. BizX is a barter network, a way for companies and individual entrepreneurs to monetize their excess capacity. So if you've ever done barter before, if you've ever done trade in your business, you've probably done so because it's a great way to take what you have in excess and use it to trade to get what you need. With BizX, we can make that and do make that scalable for businesses to actually use barter as an engine for growth. So if you or any of the companies with which you work are kind of looking at your schedule and you see spots in your schedule that are not getting you revenue, that you have the capacity to bring on new customers, they're an empty spot or a fallow spot in your schedule, BizX can help you fill that with revenue and new customers that helps you increase your cash flow and offset your expenses. I'd love to talk with each and every one of you because BizX really is a tool. And we learn from our small business partners all the time. Love to talk. Mike with BizX.
Can you hear me? We're good. Okay, I have my headphones in, but I'm using my speakers. So my name is Kelly Landon. I established a nonprofit called the Union Connection. My primary focus right now is on law enforcement and keeping their morale up and connecting community and law enforcement together. So when things happen in the law enforcement community, like officer involved shootings, or if they've done a lot of like stressful calls, I gather donations from the community and I do a morale boost, which is like snacks, drinks, meals, just because sometimes they're out there for 12 to 18 hours processing scenes and they don't eat, you know. I also do things like police week. We're doing customized bracelets and just things that give them a little mental boost. Recently, I'm adding on a foundation for Officer Rocha. He's the officer that was killed last year. I've been in touch with his family. We're going to do a foundation, his name, Dan Rocha Legacy Foundation, where we provide scholarships to kids seeking public safety as a career choice. I don't know, my big ask right now is if there's any businesses that have event spaces or would like to do fundraisers to help get the name out into the community, that would be awesome. That is my biggest concern. I'm kind of a one-woman show at this moment because you take a lot of heat supporting the law enforcement, unfortunately. So a lot of my volunteers end up walking away really early. So, but if you guys have any event spaces or small businesses in the community that want to do like little fundraisers where they like donate 10% of sales or just something, let me know. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. It's so good to see you here today. And everyone else, welcome. Hey, everybody, I'm Marcel. I own Dreamosity, and Dreamosity is a social media training and a creative organization to help you get your message into the marketplace. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to go back, Suze? Sorry, I apparently can't read video today. I was talking to Matt in chat about how to doodle just a little stick figure of somebody that. Anyway, creativity is fun, and I'm obviously a very creative person. As you can see, I actually quit my first job because they put this butterfly in a box, and I was not a good cubicle person. So I love to explore and adventure. But what I wanted to share today was a discovery. I have this program called the Discovery Deck, kind of a strategy session, $250, 90 minutes. You could take this training with me multiple times, right? So oftentimes people are like, oh, I just need to do it once and then I'll know how the internet works. You could actually do this 2 or 3 times throughout the year or a season. So just know that if you are creating content for video, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, there are so many new things you could be doing to generate leads, advance ideas in your industry, and really support the community in new and exciting ways. So if you have questions, please book a discovery session or just reach out and give me a call, and I'll pass it off to you, Karen. So sorry.
Hi, I'm Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions. I'm the founder and CEO. I've been in the business since 2016, but went independent in April of 2021. So I've been on my own for 2 years. What does that mean? It just gives me a little more access to do different things for my clients. I do financial planning, I do individual investments, and then I recently added a couple of different areas to my practice. I'm doing business valuations. So if you have any companies that want to value their business because they're either looking to sell or it's part of their plan to pass it on to their heirs or those types of things, I can run business valuations. And then I'm getting my certification for CDFA, which is Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, so I can help the divorced market. Because in 2007, I walked away with a large sum of money and put it all on a down payment on a house right before the 2008 housing market crash, and really didn't get my money back until about probably 10 years later. So if I would have had someone like Gil or someone like that to tell me, hey, do a small down payment on your house and invest the other portion, I would have had, you know, quite a nice little investment egg. So Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions.
All right, everyone. So my name is Matt with Cal Rose Insurance. I do auto, home, and business insurance. Some of just little unique things about me. I'm actually a 4th-generation insurance agent. So yes, it does run in the blood. Yes, it is a black hole that I could never escape. And then the other thing that's a little bit different about me is I also focus, in addition to helping people, just normal routine things when it comes to insurance. Also, I focus a lot on complex problems. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to work on cyber liability and data breach. That is a newer area when it comes to insurance. There's not a lot of insurance companies that know what they're doing with it. And so that is something that I focus on helping people understand what their digital risks are, in addition to all the normal stuff of, buildings, homes, and autos, and all that good stuff. So if you know someone that is looking to actually understand their insurance, I focus a ton on education, as Amy pointed out, and Marcel, I do a lot of videos because I believe that the more educated the insurance buyer is, the better decisions they can actually make for themselves. So if you know someone like that, that's a great kind of person for me.
Outstanding. All right, everybody, I'm going to skip my commercial given that I'm presenting, but I do want to state really quickly, since we technically have some new faces here today on the call. For starters, thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate it. You might have noticed that some of these businesses are also represented from the dual perspective. I want to point out that PNA Northwest 2 years ago now started this chapter from the DigitalPNA perspective, and it was actually inspired by Marcel on my screen. It's her fault, but the whole point of it is a lot of networking groups, you get kind of lulled into complacency when you're category closed, excuse me, and you're the only one there. That's not a bad thing necessarily. It means that technically speaking, you've earned the relationship rights, the opportunities are found, they become an opportunity for you to then close business. One thing that the other organizations out there, which I will not mention because I'm recording this, is they have occasionally open-ended or open category to the point where it's about working the room. And I know we're all digital, so bear with me for that analogy, but you've got to put forth the effort. You've got to have one-to-ones outside of the chapter meetings. You have to make certain that every member knows exactly what you can do, maybe what differentiates yourself from the other person in the group. You're not doing that person a disservice. You're stating that you might do 1 or 2 things that they don't, etc. No matter what, it's the person who is potentially earning or giving you the business, whether it be a member or an outside referral. You have to work and earn that business. So that any laziness or complacency kind of goes out the window. It's an interesting model. It does work for many groups. It's working so far for DigitalPNA. So I just want to make sure that was clear. Okay. Okay, so I get to be quiet now, which just for a second or two, and go into another quick slide show here, jumping to the screen. Of course, it's still 3 or 4 steps away, thanks to technology. I want everybody to see.
Icebreaker question.
Working, yes, there we go. Icebreaker question. Here we go. Can we see that? Someone give me a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So here is your icebreaker question. We're going to go back around the room now. We can use the same order. So if that's updated on your chat screen, or I'll paste it in. Who are the 1 or 2 or maybe more, at least ideally mention 1, that you might consider an influencer that you watch online? Now, this could be any social media. Maybe you're a huge TikTok fan. Maybe you're just on Facebook, Reels, Insta, Reels. I'm probably saying them all wrong and making Marcel twitch. And then the new YouTube Shorts. Like, where are you watching the content? Who stands out in your brain? And like it says here, who do you enjoy, maybe benefit from, and or even share out their content, right, to help their exposure grow? And why is that? Okay. So I'd rather not stay too much longer on this screen. We've all got the question to discuss. Okay, not 1 person said anything.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and go back through the rotation. I'll put it in 1 more time, and let's be funny. Let's reverse it. So I'm going to force you to look at the very bottom first. So Matt, talk to us about an influencer, someone you look at on a regular basis on social media, video, stuff like that, and why.
Yeah, so 2 that come to mind that this isn't really related to business, is more just personal life and personal interests. One, this is a really random specific, but Dr. Mike Israetel from Renaissance Periodization. He's primarily, I follow him on YouTube, but basically he is a for lack of a better phrase, fitness instructor on steroids. He's not only trained Olympic level athletes, done several TED Talks. He's also has a PhD. He's currently, I think, runs the physical education department of a university. So he's got insanely wonderful credentials and gives you a lot of wonderful fitness information. That's one I really enjoy. And then another one is Philip DeFranco. He's been out there online for a long time on a lot of different platforms. Lately, I've been enjoying him on TikTok. But basically, it's a kind of think of a completely independent news source that isn't owned by, one of the massive conglomerates. So his takes on different social, political, anything in between are really, really factually based. And he does a wonderful job of making clear distinctions of one side says this, another side says this. This is my general opinion. Now, what do you think? And most of his content follows that format, which I truly love and enjoy. So yeah, those are two video style influencers I check in pretty routinely.
Outstanding. Matt, thank you. And for you and everyone else, please, if you can, take a moment and hunt down maybe what one of those links might look like, or a website for who you're stating that you're following. Because then Marcel and her list creating love, she can generate that for future reference. All right, next up is going to actually be Marcel.
I was going to let Karen go if she wanted to. Okay, I'll go. So there is this gal, I actually didn't know her name till just now. Her name's Candace, but she runs Edgy Veg. Now, I'm a meat lover, so know this, but the fact that this woman has made veggie-based food attractive and almost even kind of sexy to want to try. She's a great entertainer. She's an educator. She's just dynamic and fabulous, and strangely, like, every time I watch her videos, I will watch all of it because I know she's going to make me laugh. She's going to teach me something, and she's going to make me want to go try to make some food. So she's not in my niche necessarily, but as an entertainer, she's fantastic. And just, you'll have to check her out. So I put her link there. Just watch a couple of reels, follow her if you had some COVID-10 or whatever that problem may have been for some of us, but she is fantastic and wild and different, and you'll get video ideas from her storytelling style. I almost guarantee it. That's all. Back to you, Karen.
Okay, so who I follow, one of many, her name is Jessica Weaver. I put her Instagram handle, it's Pink Fix My Money. So Pink is her color, it's all over her thing. But I went through we both had the same coach. So back in 2015, we both had the same coach, and I've been watching her grow. She used to work with Raymond James, and she went out on her own, and now she owns Women's Wealth Boutique, and she's starting an all-female financial advisor company. So I follow her just because I think it's more of things that women should be doing, and she has a lot of good stuff that she puts out on social media.
Awesome. Next up, if you're good at reading backwards, Kelly.
Sorry, I was like, wait, how do I read backwards? So there are two that I grabbed links for. One is my friend Julie Kelly. She's actually an influencer in the direct sales world. I met her when I was selling lashes like 3 years ago. She's just a huge inspiration. She's just someone that is a go-getter, and she's a ray of sunshine, and she doesn't care what other people think. And what I love most about her is that she's raw and she's real. And if there's kids screaming around the house, she's still going live. She's still giving her positive messages, and I have a problem with that. Like Marcel keeps telling me, like, you have a voice, you have a message, like get on there and say it. And I'm like, well, my house is a mess and the kids are screaming in the background and my hair's not done and my face isn't on. And it's just, I don't look the part. And so I have this woman who, she's done it 3 times in a row, made 6-7 figures in direct sales. And I would love to achieve that. Anywhere she goes, she is able to develop whatever she wants. And then the other one is Officer Parker. Just because I am into law enforcement, I love his positive outlook on the field. I love his messages. He does a lot of nonprofit stuff. And so he's an influencer to me. So I'll put those in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
I guess it's me. 2 sprang to mind. The first was somebody named Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a terrifically optimistic, bright light for small business and entrepreneurs. Lots of great He has a great approach on seeing opportunity and explaining why, even in difficult times, small businesses can find a way to thrive. And I like the way he communicates. He also, I believe, was a wine guy and built some wine apps and restaurant management apps. And every time I read him, I find something, a kernel of really interesting truth in what he writes. The second is a guy named Bob Hoffman. Bob Hoffman has been writing forever as the ad contrarian. And I've come from the advertising background. He is very focused on how digital advertising opens a door for all sorts of fraud and scams and duplicity, and how, in fact, even some of the algorithms have radicalized a lot of the online content that you and I see. Bob Hoffman, the ad contrarian, he doesn't do much writing these days. I think he's slowed down a bit, but a terrific read every time.
I am probably the least digital person here. I have Instagram and all that stuff, but I don't really, I follow some things. Like I follow Poplitics. It's like a pop culture conservative women's group. I really enjoy it. It's funny and entertaining. And I follow a lot of baby stuff right now. I just had a baby like 2 months ago. So like there's this one, it's called On Track Baby, and it kind of gives you ideas on like how to help your baby like explore the world on their own. Like don't swaddle them, don't like make them a little mummy, like let them, you know, experience everything. I don't just, it's really interesting. I get those popping up in my feed. So
I thought you could just leave them in the grocery store and see what happens. But anyway, okay, good, excellent. Since people are having trouble reading backwards, Gil, you're up next.
Yeah, so I listen to a ton of podcasts. That's kind of my my thing. And I'll give you one it's a finance guy, and I'm sure Karen's familiar with him. It's Michael Kitces, and he basically he invites a lot of people on that basically talk about how they've run their small business. And the thing I like about it is they get to success in all sorts of different ways, and it really opens my mind to, you know, not looking at the traditional framework that people might look to build their business. So and then the other one is I'm really interested in fitness and health and all that, and it's called the Huberman Lab. And he's a Stanford professor, a doctor, and essentially he digs really deep on things that you know, kind of go beyond the traditional way of looking at how what health is, and how we measure and how we basically behave in a way that is proven scientifically versus just kind of the traditional approach of how what you might do to be healthy. So get some really smart guests on there, and they have some pretty interesting views. So
Thanks, Gil.
All right. Got a couple. Well, actually, it depends on what platform, honestly, but I think you guys are more gearing towards. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Anyways, I follow a lot of mortgage people. The Mortgage Nerd is probably one of the most that I actually, you know, repeat or copy, I should say. Obviously a lot of mortgage stuff, but she also talks about, you know, following your prospects and commenting on them, which is really cool because you actually get, you know, top of mind often, especially if they're posted on their stories. And then huge football fan, I know, or sports in general. So Adam Schefter, not as in depth as all you guys, but very surface level there. But Adam Schefter and the Mortgage Nerd for sure. And Dreamosity, right?
All right, I'm last and definitely least. Hi, everybody. I'm actually, I hate to say this is embarrassing. I'm a lot like Courtney, although I don't stalk baby ones. I actually simply watch a little of a lot. There's no one particular person that I've really settled in on and said, that's the individual, that's the business. Because I just find that even not picking on Amy, mortgage folks that suddenly are allowed to talk about their industry, and things have been kind of lifted as far as some of the things that they could discuss openly and record on video, because right, the interwebs are forever. I'm fascinated with the content coming out nowadays, and I'm seeing more and more that over the next 5 years, so half decade, we're going to be on the other side of the TikTok nation, since who knows what's going to happen with that app. And that's why YouTube accelerated their efforts to come out with shorts and everything else, because everyone's convinced TikTok might be banned from the US. So for thousands and thousands of people out there driving their messages on that platform and or making an income, there's going to be a huge shift that's going on. So I'm a little irritated at Mike. He stole my thunder. I am actually a huge Gary Vee fan, though, because frankly, he swears a lot. And I like that. He's very blunt. He's just very black and white, very few shades of gray. And he will honestly, constructively tear anyone a new one if he thinks they're way out in left field. And he has a oddly respectful way of getting them back on track and inspiring. And I don't know his level of education. I'm kind of under the impression he's a bit of the underdog in that sense, but he's got life experience and business experience and true grit. And I just honor and love that about him. So maybe that's my, proverbial man crush out there. I just think he gets it done, and he's not afraid of explaining that. Right. So there we go. Thanks everybody for that.
Great
Yes.
topic, Brian. And I just want to share it with everybody. I talked to a teenager the other day who didn't know who Oprah was. So the world is changing very quickly, and you should talk to people about those that influence you, because in 10 years, they won't know it's going to change. And that's part of the beauty of it, is there's huge opportunity in that. So great question today, Brian.
Okay, so Marcel, can you take over?
Oh, I think I am taking over. So today we have a great speaker here to share with you about the wonderful company of LabTech. He's got a really nice coif, and he's apparently fanboys over Gary Vee, but really he fanboys over Star Wars. He's a great storyteller, very entertaining, and he's going to talk to you today about how LabTech is a great company that you should know about here in the Pacific Northwest. So Brian, take it away. Oh, and he's working on a book. He might tell you about it.
Oh, stop.
There you go.
All right, just double check. Everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is the stuff that no one cares about. Let's move on. Everybody, I want to talk to you about a company that is actually coming up on its 8th year, and it is owned by Marcel and myself, but it's important to point out that we did not know each other about 9 years ago, and she has her company Dreamosity. I have 2 other companies as well, and when we met, it was an incredible experience on stage, and we created within a roughly 6 months a company that no one does exactly what we do. And we're very proud of what we've created. I want to share some of that about it today. I could technically stay on this slide the entire time, because really it says everything, including showing flailing kids. Not because we made them flail, but we had a fun, energetic exercise. And those are my 2 kids on the bottom right of that, that slide image. But we have fun with people. We are literally engagement coaches, or humor engagement coaches, if you will. And most often people are like, I don't know what that means. So then we have to sit down and explain it to them. That's okay. We have been seen and or heard all over the place. There's a lot of logos here. Ooh, it's pretty and sexy, but I know that only goes so far. But it's showing that, in a nutshell, we've been making advances over the last few years and doing a lot more with local businesses, local organizations, whether that's on the education front or even the fundraising front, things along those lines that I'll talk about briefly later. But again, this is just neat. It's kind of fun to have media bling swag on our website and everywhere else. And sometimes someone goes, ooh, Microsoft, whatever. It's just fun. This is kind of a snapshot in literally what we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. These numbers are actually off. They're outdated. There's more. But it's a really neat thing to be able to say that we have, in one way, shape, or form, positively affected many, many people throughout the time that we've been in business. And again, there's some name dropping there, but really it's any company that has had need to have us work with them, either on a 2-to-1 engagement level, or if they're part of a bigger team. We've cram 30 people in the room, if we've gotten them to laugh and understand that they have skill sets that already that are inside of them that we want to bring out and make them more competent and confident, likable and listenable, and then of course, ideally ROI-able presenters and speakers. And that can be management level, it can be CIO level, all the way down. It has a trickle-down effect. Some of you have heard me tell this story very briefly. People have called us in the past and they're complaining about their crappy sales team and they're not hitting their goals. And guess who we end up working first or work with first? It's the management. It's the people that are calling us complaining because they're not leading with positivity. They're probably leading with deprecating, behaviors throughout the workplace. They're affecting their own business model on the negative scale. So we work with them, and then lo and behold, they enjoy those results. So then we get to work with the sales teams, whether individual or in group, forms. So what we teach from is what Marcel beat out of my skull many years ago. When we started working together at a shared office environment, we suddenly realized that our businesses needed each other. And from that, it also came down to people don't want to work with you if you're boring, and people don't want to watch your videos if you're boring. And believe it or not, that's what brought forth the Laugh Tech 6 Methods of Humor, which is primarily our curriculum that we pull from. And we can customize little snippets of that, including a portion that I'm going to take you all through today, to get people to understand that we all, like I mentioned, we have it inside of us, but we as Laugh Tech have broken it down to these 6 methods that no one has ever done before, done it on this level. And people realize, oh, I have strengths. I might be a scene setter. I might use a lot of sounds when I talk, or maybe I use sensation. I pull from nonfiction. I pull from the emotional quotient to get people to be inside my shoes. So if they laugh or cry, they buy. Right? That is not a Jedi mind trick. That is a true and told sales technique. If you get people emotionally involved, they're more likely to give you their money. So we get people to discover their mix, whether it's through our workshops or through individual stuff that we can do, because we really do teach people which methods work best and when to actually apply them. So today I want to take the time and get you all to play with me. Y'all willing to play? Okay, a couple bobbleheads. Whoever did not nod, Amy, you'll be one of the first victims.
Do you want us all off unmute?
Yes, as long as there's, Matt doesn't have his father screaming in the background. So what's in your bag is a portion of the Silly workshop series. And of course, I'll explain what it means in just a second. Silly is the end of our 6 methods workshop sessions. So really it's like the 6th week people have spent time going through each of the other individual methods, but it's okay that I'm jumping the shark right now and we're landing on this. Plus, for the record, I got to say jumping on the shark on a recorded presentation. This involves the usage of everything you've learned throughout the workshop series. But it's easy, like I said, to look at this and talk about how do you all make your initial message that you lead with on a regular basis? How do you make it listenable? How do you make it likable? How do you make it memorable? So I'm not going to stay on this slide for too long because I have a little trick that I'll do in just a second. But these are some of the things that I want you to try today, okay? Because like it says here, every speaker, every humorist, every person that really is good at engaging the audience, they have some things that they lean on. They have 1 or 2 things, maybe 5+ things that essentially are in their back pocket. How many of you have ever heard me joke and say to someone after maybe they've talked about a cool financial investment, et cetera, that I'm up for adoption? Mm-hmm. Who's ever heard that? Okay, at least one. Amy, I know I've said it in one of your chapters, so you should raise. Karen, definitely. Can't see Marcel. She's probably
so many times,
right?
A few.
That is one of the sayings I use at a moment's notice, and it drop dead every single time, gets people to laugh. Right?
Or I roll.
Or I roll, yes. Thank you, Marcel. I appreciate the blunt honesty. But it's one of those things. It could be a simple phrase like that, or it can be certain, tones and inflections I use when I'm delivering some form of a sequence in my message where I say something simple, and then my swivel has a little, I don't know, it has like that, type of sound. When people hear that sound, they laugh to it, right? Or they react in the laughing fashion, like Kelly's kiddo in the background. So the whole point of this is that we all have things that we lean on or that we use, or maybe you don't know what it is. So today I want you all to play with me, okay? Think about one fun thing about your business, okay? So for a moment, I'm going to stop share, go back to our big bobbleheads. Think of one fun thing about your business. It could be the fact that you don't have to wear pants. Maybe you wear shorts all the time. It can be the fact that maybe you can serve anybody throughout the country. So again, you don't have to travel. It can just be the fact that you always show up with donuts, whatever the case is. Tell us something fun about your business, okay? And I'm dramatically stalling for just a quick second. So I want you all to think about that. But what I want you to do is try to work in one of these methods. Maybe it's the pace, the tone, the sound of your voice, okay? So the little sound icon. Maybe you're into metaphors, right? My heart is like a flower, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you use metaphors in how you discuss or explain what you do. Maybe you're a factoid junkie. Maybe it's like 98% of the facts are made up, okay? Maybe you like flowers and wieners like Marcel has in the background there. I mean, it could, oh, that was inappropriate. Anyway, it could be something like that. Or maybe impersonations. Maybe when you're imitating one of your clients, it's a young little kid, or maybe it's an old guy who's at the end of his life. Maybe you're using actual impersonations and voice control to get the point across and get people to not necessarily drop dead laugh, right? But enjoy what you're talking about and get absorbed into your message, okay? So do I have any volunteers that might want to try using, oh, I'm pointing the wrong way, using one of these styles, one of these methods from the vocal perspective? Who wants to go first? Who wants to try? Who's willing to play?
I'll play.
Okay.
I'll play. You know, there's that sound of a train just coming to a screeching halt. And maybe, Brian, you've experienced that sound before in presenting. I have experienced that sound in presenting. I've also experienced that sound in business. I tried to start a business and I failed. And it failed because I ran out of money. It was the sound, I remember it orally like it was a train screeching to a halt. Most businesses fail in the first 10 years. About 7 out of 10 businesses fail in 10 years. Most of those failures happen because companies run out of money because of cash flow issues. I talk about this a lot because BizX, the company I work for, is really a solution for a lot of the cash flow issues. It allows companies to get what they need without dipping into their cash reserves to avoid DROOM. DROOM stands for DROOM. Don't run out of money. The sound of DROOM is the train screeching to a halt.
So Mike, thank you. And do me a favor, give us that sound.
Thump. that was my experience, at least with my business.
That was a very high-pitched Disney train.
Well, there was a combination of wheels and my screaming, and then the thump was, yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you. So what did everybody think about Mike embracing sound? And actually kind of metaphor as well, right? Using the
it almost was like it was more leaning on the metaphor side, because it wasn't like it wasn't leaning on the actual like punctuation of like, do you know this sound, like you know, it didn't do that, but it definitely worked.
I think it'd make a great reel, Mike. It was fantastic. It was almost better than your first commercial. Like, that was very effective. I was like, I get you. Like, I get you.
It was far more personal than most of my commercials, and that's a really really interesting technique to make me go personal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. So who wants to try one of the other ones, or a metaphor as well, whether sound, the metaphor itself, a factoid maybe, or some form of an impersonation? And remember, I will voluntold it if necessary. I got time to fill here, people. Marcel's raising her hand. Okay, go ahead.
I'll always talk in metaphors. So some of you guys don't know this, but I am the author of a book called Financial Joy. And I use flowers as a metaphor for cash flow. Because to me, when I was coming through my trauma and my grief, my sister had a flower farm, and flowers made money easy for me to talk about. So when I look at patterns of cash flow, And just so y'all know, I've been in business over 15 years. Most months have been profitable, not every month, but most months. And so I really believe in using creativity and flowers and metaphors to help people lower their anxiety. So it's fun and easy to talk about money. And I'm even so silly, you guys, I make rejection pretty, because if you say no and you don't sign up, I will doodle a pretty flower and I'm still gonna feel good about myself. And this country needs to be more calm and relaxed in the face of failure. So try doodling the data or check out Financial Joy for more.
That's awesome. All right. So what do people think about that? She definitely used metaphor. Yeah. And anything else? How about sound, right? I mean, technically we're all using sound because sound is escaping our lips, but she had a lot of ups and downs, right? Okay. Who else wants to try?
Well, and can I just say, I want to do impersonation, but that scares me. So I've got work to do on certain silly things, because if these flowers could talk, oh girl, look out.
All right, who else wants to try? Courtney, you're off mute. That tells me you're just dying to try. You're so excited. You're vibrating. You're so excited.
I had one in mind. So
okay, go ahead.
It was like a statistic one, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna do this correctly.
Well, try.
So when I first started doing this, it was probably about 6 years ago. I was told by someone that 1 in 4 people driving are uninsured or underinsured. And when I look at people's declarations like Otto, and I'm doing a quote, I guess I would say maybe 50% of the time people have like the state minimum limits, and I'm always like, that's not great. Let's talk about your coverages. We should probably tell you what that means, and increase it. A lot of times I can save them money just by increasing them to like the 100,000, 300,000 liability. So
sure. Okay, great. So did anyone's ears perk up a little bit more than they would normally because she used a fact, right? That makes us all think about it, kind of put ourselves hopefully not in that position, right? I want to be on the other end of that factoid, right? The safe driver, right? Excellent. Good job. Would anyone else like to try? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. That's all right.
I think Amy should try.
Sorry, what?
I think Amy should try.
Amy, you're getting called out. Are you willing to take that gauntlet?
I know. I'm sure he privately messaged all you guys to try this too.
Nonsense. Only you.
So I was Googling your website because I forgot what the 4 items were.
Okay. So we have sound, and then we have metaphor. I'm going down the list here. So
okay, let's hear it.
Sound, metaphor, that is factoids, and this is like an impersonation, like using a voice of an old person or something
like
along those
be
lines.
Daisy Duck or Minnie Mouse or like a princess.
Oh Lord, I really have nothing. I mean, as far as being silly or I make fun of myself all the time. Like I tell people, you got to think about it, right? Because a lot of people think about financing and they got to actually sit on it. And I just tell them I'm going to call them back in 5 minutes. I kind of make fun of myself, so to speak. So sure. I don't know, maybe making fun or mimicking myself. Is that a good one?
Yeah, go for it.
People love it. I mean, so far I've been, successful, knock on wood, right? Right. And I make you two laugh. So that's got to count for something. And yeah. Karen from time to time, or she just laughs at me, either way, I'll take it.
One will never know. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for trying here. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again really quickly and point out, people ask us all the time, they're like, we don't understand. What can you actually do? And in my brain, it's like, we've already been telling you that. That's okay. But imagine someone out there in business that has to do speaking on a regular basis. This can be on the phone, this can be on Zoom, this can be face-to-face, this can be just to colleagues, this can be just to management, or management just to employees, things along those lines. These are people that come to us and need assistance. So this is sort of the booklet of what we can do, or the legend, if you will. So public speaking challenges, right? The when, the where. The how, the panic behind that, we can help with that. Accountability is simply, listen, at the beginning of the month, we talked about this, this, and this. We check back later and find out, let's now do a recap. How are you doing? Did you do one or two of those things that we suggested from the exercise perspective? Or did you deliver that presentation by doing this and this? And then we talk about it, right? Role playing is not meant to sound odd. It's I am the customer, you are the salesperson, things along those lines, or situations that we can role play that positively affect your business and get you to be more resilient. Okay. Movement and gestures. Who here has had a presentation or talked in front of or seen someone in front of them that's a ring spinner, a chronic ring spinner, or some type of gesture or movement that makes it look like they're having a polite seizure? You know, exactly, Kelly. We work with people to make certain that their motions and gestures come from a place of reason and need, not nervous, not bad posture, things along those lines, crossing your arms, things, you know, stuff like that, that people don't realize that they might be doing incorrectly. We want to help them improve that. Presentation spot checks, because of my design background, because of Marcel's rose-colored glasses background and the ability to see what's really working from a communication perspective, we can help with presentations, whether that's print material or slide decks. And listen, we can quite often take someone's 50 slide deck down to 12 slides if they just take out the majority of the crap that's not needed. Leave that for the notes, go strong visuals, low text, it'll be much more effective. Humor-based methodologies, that's the workshop series I spoke of. Script writing, if you're not getting successful emails, low return. If you're doing phone voicemails ad nauseum, no results from that, we can look at that. We can help finesse your message. Improvisational exercise, most of you have been through one of our exercises in one way, shape, or form or another. We're not doing that today. There's not time, but there's fun improv stuff we can get to help you build your confidence when you don't know what's coming around the corner from a curveball perspective and more. Speech copywriting, body confidence, how you stand from a position of power also get you to understand that people are looking at your face and your smile and your eye contact if you're doing things right. The shape you are is the shape you're in. So let's work with whatever, whoever, however you look. I know that's meant to sound weird, but there's too much body shaming and garbage going on right there or out there. We're trying to help people get over that. The voice range and impact is, again, using vocal variety, making sure that you're seen and, heard and listened to, which are two completely separate things. That's a whole presentation in itself. Stacking and vision work is working more on your message and how your messages can be better using positive and negative reinforcement. And then things like video coaching, helping people get seen, get heard, but also get watched. If you look at statistics, most people drop after 10 to 15 seconds. That's because that person is boring. Last but not least, most of you know I do a lot of fundraising, auctioneer, and MC work. I'm not going to cover that today, but if people have questions, please take the time now to ask, or at the same time, we'd love to have you visit our website, laughtechnw.com. And that is it for my presentation. Let's do questions if anybody has them.
I have a question, Brian,
Yes.
because I've wondered about this and Laugh Tech. And so the question is to Brian and Marcel. Getting up in front of people is for many people inherently anxiety producing. Mm-hmm. Add to that the anxiety, at least hypothetically, involved in improv or being funny. So you've got a situation where I'm going to be anxious, but I need help. But it sounds like from the uneducated person who doesn't know Laugh Tech or doesn't know Marcel and Brian, that what you would produce is even more anxiety in me. How do you present something that actually works terrifically to get people where they need to be, but from the outside might incur some confusion or anxiety? How do you get them over the hump?
So that's a really, really great question. And honestly, one of the best ways to get someone over the hump is to grab them by the nape of their neck and throw them. And I say that not to be cruel, but because it's the shyest people in our workshops that within moments are the first people volunteering to do stuff. Because for whatever reason, she just nailed it in the chat window. That might be just to me. We have been so lucky to be able to create an incredibly safe space anywhere we've worked with our clients, whether it's in the digital divide here, we're all still separated by hundreds of miles, some of us, right? Or face to face. Now we laugh as well and we joke and we have HR swear on one of our documents and treat it like a Bible and say whatever happens in LaughtTech stays in LaughtTech will not be used against quarterly reviews. And people go, okay, good, because they relax. And when they see that we're having fun, what happens during any session? The brain releases endorphins and serotonin. So they get stoked and they also get calm and they feel joy working through the curriculum with us. It's happened every single time, whether individuals or working in a group environment. And then, yes, we did create a ridiculous LaughtTech laughter scale where no one wants to be silent, no one wants to be crickets, but people want to get the chuckles and or the snorts level. I can't bend my arm that far. But point is that when you're at the snorts level, people are having such a great time. They're going through a physiological experience or a physical experience. Their body's changing, heart rate goes up, blood flow increases, more stuff gets released, and they're having a rock solid time. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, they don't know about how warm or cold the water is until they jump in.
Yeah.
The key is getting them to jump in.
Yeah. And Marcel will sit there and go, oh my gosh, and this is so great. And I'm like, push, because we work really well together. We have different ways of utilizing and addressing humor. Her nickname is Hallmark. My nickname is like Blunt Edge Sword. You know what I mean? So we do really work well in that sense. And Kelly shrank. Did anyone notice that? Kelly's tiny and pocket sized. Holy cute. Okay.
Well, and look at this epic doodle from Matt.
We're talking about flowers, and then I was like, oh, I can make a flower with like the different petals or the different parts of the exercise that we are doing today. As you can see, my artistic ability is peak,
Wonderful.
prime,
Oh
you know,
God,
keep that so that way it's valuable after I die.
Hey, we all got to start a body of work somewhere.
Good job. All right. Anyone else have questions for me? Maybe Kelly? No, just chewing food. Okay. No other questions.
Oh, I have a question for you, Mr. Brian.
Uh-oh, this will be good.
How much money have you raised this year? Your number keeps changing and I want to be able to sit.
Oh, for auctions. So far this year, I've raised just over $2 million.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, he can walk into a room and literally get people just to write the big checks, like, because he's entertaining and lovely, and even the small checks are helpful, right? So Kelly, did you hear that? $2 million. Brian's already raised that much money this year in this MC work, fundraising work. It's fantastic. We all should know that data point when we brag about him.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions? Kelly grew back to normal size. It's fantastic. Okay.
How much of your business is because you have a lot of stuff, PNA, your design business, plus LaughtTech, plus your auctioning? So
the auction and MC work is under LaughtTech. So that,
it is. Okay.
That is part of that. It's basically a division of. So how much business in general am I generating, or where do I put my time?
Yeah, I mean, where do you find that you spend your most time? Is it like a third, a third, a third? Is it 3/4 on, you know?
Well, I'm bad at math off the top of my head. I'll answer by way of saying that I've been a graphic designer for 30 plus years. And while I still work with clients and will continue to work with clients that I like, my business also never recovered from COVID. So that used to be my primary income. It's fast becoming not my primary income, which to an extent isn't ideal, but that's okay. The LaughtTech business right now is about half of my income and my time. And with that being said, it's probably about 70% MC work and auctioneer work right now, because there's sweet spots during the year when a lot of this stuff happens from the fundraising and generosity, but those calendars are being smashed right now because I'm booking events all the way out through September and October, when some of those businesses normally would just be toward the end of the year. So gigs are being spread out. And PNA, you all know that it's growing. I will take over the world. It's a phenomenally fast-growing beast, but it's also kind of self-replicating from the standpoint of membership. So that's about 25% of my time. Again, I don't know how all that math works, but that's the best I can answer. Any other quick questions? If not, we'll go into the speech breakout. Marcel, would you mind running it since it's me? And I guess I can run it and just not answer.
So I'll do it. One of the things that makes PNA different is we now quiz you on how well we were listening, right? So, and a digital PNA, it is different than the local chapters. So if you're from a different chapter, you may recognize some changes here. Brian, will you put it up on the screen for me though? Because my memory is a human memory. Okay, so target market. What people or businesses need his services, would you say, or the services of LaughtTech?
I would say any business or team that is just having a hard time communicating with clients, having a hard time communicating concepts in the office. Because yeah, I think that the communication is incredibly important. And it's really hard to do business when people don't want to listen to you because you're either boring or abrasive. And obviously those are things that Brian solves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kelly says anyone can use it from one-to-one to huge companies. Absolutely. I'd also say politicians. I know that's kind of not very nice, but in general, they have a really important job, and some of them are very hesitant on articulating things in a way that we want to listen. And I would like to learn more from better presenters. You know, so people with a message, really messengers.
That is so true. I'm not going to say when or where, but I saw a politician present in the not too distant past, and I was supremely underwhelmed by the importance of the information that they were presenting and how difficult it was for me just to keep engaged, even to listen, just because it was, yeah, boring and not engaging.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so how about ideal partners or collaborative ideas? So you guys all have a unique and cool sphere of influence. Who are some resources that Brian may not know yet that you probably have as just some local cool person you know, or other potential collaborators? What do you guys think?
Well, I was lucky enough to see Brian present about LaughtTech at the Mill Creek Chamber of Commerce event recently. I think chambers and associations, especially those that collect people who are in business, maybe small and medium-sized businesses, would be ideal recipients of this good information.
Yep, excellent. Any other ideas? I'll give you a minute to think. Oh, there's so many.
Well, really, it could be anybody, because everybody needs help with presentation skills or being funny or telling stories, or so, because you guys do stuff for like small groups, like at businesses and that type of stuff, just for getting like those people out of their shell and getting to know each other. So anybody, really any business could use it.
Yeah. Really, anyone that's wanting to improve their culture. If you heard, oh, we're doing this culture improvement thing because it's too stale or too dry, it's like you need to have a colorful and fun and safe place to work. And I know, you know, humor seems like it's like comedy, but it's about resiliency and safety at the end of the day. And how do we human better, right? Humor can help all that stuff. So anybody that's really working on that cultural, that vibe of their company. Okay, so the next one is beneficial syndications, and syndication is just a fancy word for share. So as Brian creates cool videos or reels, or if we have blog posts or that type of thing, where do you think are places we could share that content? Or do you know, a Facebook group or a LinkedIn community that would be perfect for this type of content and curriculum?
Well, I think any one of us should be sharing and passing on the stuff that you do. So if you tag me, I'll go ahead and I'll repost or share your stuff. I mean, that's I always ask people, tag me. If you want me to share it, tag me.
Awesome. That's great to know. Thank you. We will.
Because I have a great social media person and she'll make sure it gets passed on.
Yes.
One of the places I think that might be decent is kind of I don't have a specific one in mind, but there's a lot of talk on LinkedIn about sales. There's a lot of sales bros on LinkedIn, and I'm sure there's a bunch of groups about that in LinkedIn, that if you get in some of those groups of like, okay, here's one of your phrases, how do you get ROI-able as a communicator? That's really what sales is. It's truly communicating benefits. It's communicating, what does this thing do for you? And if you can't convince that person that it does something good for them, that you're never going to sell a thing. So just honestly finding some LinkedIn groups that are really, really sales focused, I think content would go there really well.
Yeah, excellent. And even a funny open-ended question for a sales team person might be, who's your funniest salesperson? And if they can't think of one, or if they don't have one, okay, you're gonna need some laugh tech, right? Any other ideas on beneficial syndications, or just feedback on Brian's presentation? So kind of that Toastmaster vibe, if you really like something, or if you want him to go down more the rabbit hole on a certain topic, is there anything you'd like to see more of from Brian for a future talk? We love feedback.
Well, I think getting that level of engagement, getting people to actually do the things that are part and parcel of what LaughTech is very effective. As I imagine that there has to be a balance between that and conveying information about what it is, giving context, but it certainly involved the audience. That's good.
Excellent. And Brian, I really enjoyed how you took that one piece of curriculum from like 35 items and you made it 4 today. So that was a fun way to see silly, because had you put it all up there, I think we would have overwhelmed people. So good job. Any other feedback for Brian? We got one more thing. Okay, so other categories. So right now we've got a good variety of people in this digital PNA. We've also got several of the same, which is great. But what other businesses or types of people could we invite here that would really help specifically the LaughTech brand grow? Is it maybe like a DJ or a wedding planner or a, feel free to brainstorm out loud, everyone.
Business coach, that's for sure.
Business coach would be great.
No, it's a great idea. DJs and wedding planners and anybody sort of creating situations where people have to give speeches or toasts or presentations.
Yep. Yeah, where does the father of the bride go before they did their speech? Like, do they have a class for that?
The bar.
The bar, yeah.
I could set up a kiosk at the bar.
I'd also just toss in video editor and copy editor. Those would be great people in here. Cartoonist even would be fun.
It'd be nice to have an estate planner.
Yeah. Divorce attorney even.
Mm-hmm.
I've coached. Okay, here, Brian, I'll pass it back to you here, but here's more of our categories for, in general, PNA as a whole and digital PNA. Specific roles we would love to fill in this growing chapter. So
thank you, Marcel, and thank you everybody for your input today, and also for playing with me. I appreciate that. Yeah, Marcel said she'd hand it over, but then she covered it. So this is a snapshot in some of the kind of thinking outside the box businesses that honestly, I think a lot of these owners and or entrepreneurs or employees of, they don't think they could be part of a networking group. I think there's a stigma that you've got to be a financial advisor, or you've got to be a real estate agent or mortgage or whatever. But a lot of these are beyond outside of the box. They might just be working off of their kitchen table. It doesn't matter, but they're doing things. They're already selling online, coaching online, moving product, or maybe they are the product if they're a 3D modeler or voiceover artist, things along those lines, or they're big, beautiful brains, the content writer, copywriter, copy editor. Those are actually 3 completely separate business categories. We'd love to have them. I'll probably use them. So think about that. Okay, come on. We're at the referrals and testimonials portion of the meeting. So you all know what that is, but again, I want to make sure that everyone says something, ideally. Take 45 seconds if you have a referral outstanding. If you don't, maybe a testimonial, someone you've worked with or someone you maybe want to work with or want to have a one-to-one with, speak to that or forever hold your pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and call out instead of have an order of things. So Kelly, you're first.
Hi. I don't know. I think I'd like to have a one-on-one with you and Marcel about Laugh Tech and doing some sort of law enforcement like appreciation night, maybe with like an auction or
That'd be epic.
I don't know. I think they need some big morale boosting and that'd be pretty cool. So
Amazing.
that'd be my thing.
Yes. Let's do it. And Courtney wants to be part of it too. Sweet. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Next up, how about Karen?
So I don't know if Amy said this, but her and I are doing a joint thing on May 9th.
Nice.
So we've got that set up. I'm going to be training some of her mortgage brokers and other people that may attend. That I can't remember. I don't think she decided which topic, but things about financial advising and financial investing and those different things. Things about down payments, I think, is what we're going to do.
Fantastic.
Different ways to do down payments.
We did a one-on-one, super insightful. I don't think we've really chatted too much since then, but she has a presentation of unique ways to come up with a down payment or closing costs, however you want to spin it, and some super helpful financial tips. So we set up an appointment just to do either an in-person Zoom for people locally and an in-person and then also on Zoom, and just kind of bring some value. So if you have clients or people that you're trying to just bring value to that maybe you're not knowledgeable about, I definitely suggest Karen, just in the maybe 45 minutes to an hour one-on-one, and then the networking groups that we've been a part of. Super wise. I don't know where Jill is, wise woman. Anyways, yeah, I loved just her quick meeting, and she was very helpful in the short amount of time. I can't wait to get her in. A lot of my agents, which is my biggest referral source, are excited as well, just because they can pass on that financial advice to other people.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
And then I'm also a Laugh Tech graduate. So I don't know when that was. That was a long time ago. It seems like.
That's like almost 6 years ago.
Was it 6 years ago?
Yeah,
wow.
You should take it again.
Yeah, obviously I'm not funny enough, so I need to actually put some more funny stuff into it. A lot of funny things that happened in my life.
We actually get a quarter for every joke she ever shares. So
yeah,
we're up to about $1.75, I think. So yeah. Thank you, Karen. Matt, how about you?
I'm actually I've known Mike for a little while, and one of the things, just kind of a quick testimonial for Mike and BizX, is that because one of the things that we considered doing that for the agency, kind of partnering up with BizX, it's a decent project, but it's something that's very difficult when we get paid from the insurance company. We don't get paid from the client, which at first I was like, hey, like I like the business model and the idea. I don't know if this makes sense, but Mike had some really good creative ideas and solutions on how do you incorporate this sort of model with this. Like, what are other things that you do that normally that aren't a part of the normal package that you can offer as a part of, a BizX membership. And so I just really appreciate that, the creative thinking and not just being so stuck into like, oh yeah, this is the one thing that we do, and if you don't perfectly fit our mold, then we're done. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, just appreciate that, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Matt. That's really nice. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I
Thank you,
I have along with Matt, been visiting or have been at attendance at some galas and auctions recently, and I have seen a wide variety of emceeing and auctioneer styles. And I really do think there needs to be a way to get Brian and Laugh Tech into some of the events where I have been underwhelmed by the auctioneering. So I'm going to look for those opportunities.
I appreciate that. I am going to drop a file into the chat window. If everyone would do me a solid and download it. This is how you can do just that. I don't really want to step on toes, for lack of better words, but sometimes toes need to be hidden elsewhere. And this would be the way to do it. It's basically my media kit, PDF. All right, Mike, thank you for that. Amy, I guess you already spoke, right? You spoke after Karen did. I'll make sure there wasn't anything else.
I don't know if I have any necessarily recent testimonials. I mean, I just started working with Marcel, and she's been very, very helpful with my social media and actually keeping me accountable, which is nice. So if you, Courtney, don't like social media, especially YouTube and Brian, she's just definitely making that more organized and kind of more blasting it on different groups and community involvement for sure. So I highly recommend Marcel if you are struggling with that aspect of your business for sure.
That's great. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Courtney, how about you? Any referrals or testimonials today?
Well, not really. I've been kind of bogged in children. I am interested in talking to Kelly though about something. So my company, we support first responders, and every year I get the opportunity to access $1,500 to give to either a first responder, like to a station or to, I don't know. I wonder if I could use that. So
That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you, Courtney. Kelly, if you wouldn't mind, put your contact information in the chat window. Okay. Marcel, how about you? And then I'll go last.
Well, I was just thinking, how did I not connect Courtney and Kelly before this? Because I know enough about both of you to know that there's going to be some great synergies. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to do a one-to-one, do a coffee date, Zoom, talk about kids and safety in the community, whatever really floats your boat. But this is like this wonderful little connection that is just making my heart happy right now. And then Kelly, I'm going to encourage you, share your Facebook group here. I want to give her a testimonial. She has a group that she runs, over 1,400 people in Snohomish County here. And she has literally gone from like, there's a huge problem to I'm going to corral the people to discuss and improve and fix and love on these guys. And that to me is a sign of a remarkable leader, to create a community that needs to exist, that didn't exist, and then to continue it and not let it just become a desert. So hats off to you, my dear, for having one of the coolest Facebook groups around. It's actually, and again, this last week with the trial, you were updating people on what's going on. And I love how you communicate consistently to your community. So great job, Kelly.
Outstanding. All right, and I will go last, and then I'll bring up the share screen again for a moment. Once again, I want to thank Mike. I think Matt nailed it. It sounds like there's stuff going on to maybe make that a good relationship as far as his business model, but Mike's organization is remarkable if you're able to afford to put X amount of your service hours or products into a bartering system. And one of the things that I came up with, and it turns out I thought it was a hot idea, and he's like, nope, someone else is already doing it. Let's now work together to finesse it to make it even better, which is put my auctioneering services up on the proverbial bartering block. And what I mean by that is normally, and this does not, I don't know if this sounds like a lot of money to people, but it's way less than what most auctioneers charge. My fee is normally $2,000 or $2,500 to do an auctioneer and MC work. And that's about 10 to 15 hours, all the pre-planning, all the meetings, all the stuff, all the travel, all the per diem, then the event, and then even stuff afterwards. So it's not just showing up and doing something. Well, the hot idea was to have 1,000 of that available as the BizX dollars. So essentially the organization would only pay $1,500 for the full gambit. So point is, when I came to him, yes, someone else is already doing that, but I'm now working with Mike to make certain that his coders and his people, his marketing team, get me to look as shiny, and even creating new options for keywords, et cetera. So I'm found, ideally above the other person, but you get my point. He's remarkable to work with, and I very much appreciated his service and skill sets. So that's it. That's it for me. I got to go share screens here. Just a second, folks. Love this so much. I do wish it could still just be one button, but no, that's not how BizX is. Not BizX. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Really quickly, speaker rotation. Next meeting, the 19th, is going to be Corey Bear. So Gil, I will confirm with him if that works, or maybe you can if you want to. Again, I can't see all the bobbleheads. I think Gil is still on the call. If not, I'll send an email. The 3rd, it'll be Bob Wolverton, and then Karen on the 17th. Karen, does that work with your schedule?
Let me look.
Okay. Dramatic pause.
Oh, you mean right now?
No, that's fine. You can look later. I misunderstood. I also want to point out really quickly, I did email everybody. It was a little bit late, but I emailed everyone to say, if you have any events coming up, please let me know. Give me the link, whatever. I didn't hear back today. So I used an updated one here for us. Selfishly, Marcel and I are advertising that we've got another comedy event next week on Friday. We're creeping up on halfway sold out, and I do think it'll be the 7th month in a row that we will sell out. If you want to go, maybe Marcel can be quick and grab this link off of
Already in the chat group.
site. It's already in there. Okay. If you want to go, just trust me, pre-purchase your tickets, because the last 72 hours tend to be an absolute free for all. And then there's no tickets available at the door. So again, if you want to show up, please prepay. We'd love to see some of your shiny, happy, smiley faces if you're local.
Just
And
a quick
then
note on that. I'm on the
Yeah.
Facebook group right now for that exact day, clicking on the prepay link because I'm actually trying to convince my in-laws to come with us to that event when
Yeah.
they're in town, because I think they'd have a kick. But the prepay link doesn't seem to go anywhere. It just says something went wrong. So just be aware of that.
Well, I will fix that immediately. Thank you. I actually have had 2 ticket sales today, so it could just be a weird hiccup. But thank you. I look into
We'll
it.
look at it.
Squares have
Also,
problems.
everybody, tonight in Mill Creek, there's I don't know if you guys are in the Mill Creek Business Networking group, but there is like a happy hour event at the China City. So if you like Chinese food and sake or whatever, something delicious, that's going on tonight in downtown Mill Creek. So come out and network and have a drink with us.
Anybody else have any announcements? Anything they want to bring to the table really quickly? We've got 3 minutes left. Okay. If nothing else, I want to remind everyone, invite folks. Okay. If you got something out of this meeting, invite folks. And if you've not yet been to the YouTube page that we do have, by the way, we do have a YouTube page for PNA. Please subscribe. I'm putting it in the chat window here. That is the direct link. Subscribe, and all of our digital PNA meetings are on there. I've been uploading each and every one of them, so I have so much material to use against Amy at a later date. It's a really but the whole point of this is that a few of them have over 20 views, and while that's not exceptional, it's still not too bad. That means people are actually looking at stuff that they want. They're getting content, hopefully, that they see value. So take a look at that. I'll have this next one uploaded roughly in the next 24 hours. It does take a while to download. And if anybody has any questions, just remember, from the PNA Northwest perspective, I am here to serve each and every one of your needs. Reach out to me if I can help in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just thrilled you're all here today. Thank you.
Great job, Brian. Hey, and I just want to remind folks that when you're here, you are training us to go to bat for you and your brand. So equip us. Events drive engagement. Always have an event. Always have a Facebook reel or post or a LinkedIn video or something. So you can give us things you want us to share, scatter, text mom, whatever, right? So you get to lead us to take action or not. And I want to go to bat for you guys, but I need to know specifically what you'd like me to do. And I love what Karen said earlier, tag me and I'll share. Okay, that was very specific. I will do that, Karen. So thank you for that. But we want to go to bat for you. That's part of what this is all about. So
yeah, excellent. Matt, do me a favor, stay on the call for a second, if you will. And everyone else, I consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for being here, and have a fantastic rest of your week. I want to harass them with a couple quick questions about that link problem. So take care, everyone. Thank you again for being here.